Once upon a chilling autumn night, in the small, quiet town of Ravenswood, a group of friends gathered at an old, decrepit mansion on the outskirts of the town. The mansion, known as the Hollow Manor, had long been abandoned, shrouded in whispers of eerie happenings and ghostly apparitions. Among the group of friends were Emma, Ryan, Sarah, Jake, and Alex. They were seeking a thrill, an adrenaline rush that only the bravest dared to experience. As the clock struck midnight, casting a shadow over the Hollow Manor, the group huddled in the dimly lit living room. A flickering candle provided the only source of light, casting dancing shadows that seemed to come alive. Sarah, the adventurous spirit of the group, suggested they play the infamous night hide and seek, a game rumored to connect the living with the supernatural. The rules were simple, or so they thought. One person would be chosen as the seeker, armed with a flickering candle and a piece of paper with their name written in blood. The others would scatter throughout the mansion to hide. The seeker would have until 3 a.m. to find everyone, but there was a catch: they had to avoid being caught by a mysterious entity known as the Midnight Man. As the group nervously agreed, they drew straws to determine who would be the seeker. Unluckily, it was Jake who drew the shortest straw. A mix of excitement and trepidation filled the air as they each grabbed a candle and dispersed into the mansion's darkened corridors. Emma, known for her love of the macabre, decided to hide in the mansion's ancient library. The shelves were filled with dusty tomes, their leather bindings cracked and worn. She nestled herself between the shelves, holding her breath as the flickering candle threw eerie shadows across the room. Meanwhile, Ryan opted for the grand ballroom, a place where laughter and music once echoed but was now silent and haunting. He stood behind a tattered velvet curtain, the rhythmic ticking of the grandfather clock, intensifying the suspense. Sarah chose the basement, where the air was thick with an otherworldly chill. She crouched in a corner, clutching her candle, and listened intently to the sounds of the old pipes groaning and the distant, unnerving whispers that seemed to emanate from the shadows. Alex, not one to shy away from a challenge, decided to venture into the mansion's attic. Cobwebs draped the corners like ghostly veils, and the creaking floorboards beneath his feet added an extra layer of tension. He hid among forgotten relics and discarded furniture, surrounded by the musty scent of time. As the clock struck 1 a.m., Jake, the seeker, cautiously navigated the dimly lit hallways. His candle's flickering light cast ominous shadows on the peeling wallpaper. The air grew colder, and the mansion seemed to come alive with unseen whispers. The group, scattered throughout the mansion, tried to stifle their nervous giggles as Jake stumbled upon the library. Emma, concealed among the dusty books, held her breath, hoping the darkness would shield her from the seeker's gaze. Jake lingered for a moment, his candle casting shadows that danced across the walls. The seconds felt like hours until, satisfied, he moved on to the next room. As the night progressed, each member of the group experienced their own unsettling encounters. Ryan, in the ballroom, could swear he heard the distant strains of a phantom waltz. Sarah, in the basement, felt an icy hand brush against her shoulder, sending shivers down her spine. Alex, in the attic, thought he glimpsed ghostly figures among the forgotten relics. The clock struck 2 a.m., and the group's initial excitement began to wane, replaced by a growing unease. The air in the mansion seemed charged with an otherworldly energy, and the shadows played tricks on their minds. Whispers echoed through the corridors, mingling with the sounds of creaking floorboards and distant groans. Unknown to the group, the Midnight Man, a malevolent entity summoned by the dark ritual of night hide and seek, began to make his presence known. A subtle, chilling breeze whispered through the mansion, extinguishing candles one by one. Unseen footsteps echoed in the darkness, as if someone, or something, was stalking the group. In the library, Emma's candle flickered and died. The room plunged into complete darkness, and a sense of dread washed over her. She strained her ears, hearing the soft, deliberate footsteps approaching. Panic set in as the ghostly figure of the Midnight Man materialized before her. His eyes glowed like twin orbs in the darkness, and a malevolent grin stretched across his shadowy face. Emma, paralyzed with fear, could only watch as the Midnight Man circled her, his presence draining the warmth from the air. She closed her eyes, praying that the nightmare would end. When she opened them again, the Midnight Man was gone, leaving her alone in the pitch-black library. Meanwhile, in the ballroom, Ryan felt the temperature drop drastically. The phantom walls grew louder, and the once still curtains billowed as if moved by unseen hands. A cold, spectral breath brushed against his neck, and he turned to find the Midnight Man looming behind him. The figure grinned, and the room seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. In the basement, Sarah's candle flickered erratically as she heard the sound of ghostly whispers growing louder. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on grotesque shapes that seemed to reach out for her. The Midnight Man materialized before her, his presence suffocating. Sarah, frozen in terror, could only watch as the entity approached, his eyes gleaming with an unnatural light. Up in the attic, Alex's heart pounded as he felt a cold hand rest on his shoulder. The temperature plummeted, and the air seemed to thicken with malevolence. The Midnight Man stood before him, a silent specter with eyes that bore into his very soul. Alex, unable to move, could only tremble as the entity's icy gaze enveloped him. Back in the living room, the grandfather clock struck 3 a.m., signaling the end of the game. The group reconvened, their faces pale and eyes wide with terror. Each member recounted their harrowing experiences, and a chilling realization settled among them: the Midnight Man had marked them. The once enticing thrill of the game had transformed into a nightmarish reality. The mansion, now eerily quiet, seemed to pulse with an ominous energy. The group, bound by a shared terror, knew they had to confront the Midnight Man before sunrise, or their fates would be sealed. Armed with candles and trembling resolve, they ventured into the heart of the mansion. The air grew colder, and the shadows deepened as they approached the center of the ancient building. The Midnight Man awaited them, his presence a suffocating force that seemed to warp reality itself. As they entered the mansion's grand hall, the Midnight Man materialized before them, his form shifting between shadows. His eyes bore into their souls, and a haunting laughter echoed through the hall. The group, united by fear, confronted the entity, demanding to know how to break the curse. The Midnight Man spoke in a voice that seemed to reverberate from the very depths of the underworld. He revealed that they had unwittingly opened a portal between the living and the dead, and the only way to seal it was to find the ancient relic that lay hidden within the mansion. The relic, imbued with dark magic, held the key to banishing the Midnight Man and breaking the curse. With a sense of urgency, the group embarked on a desperate search. The mansion seemed to resist their every step, its dark corridors shifting and rearranging to confuse and disorient them. The Midnight Man taunted them, his laughter echoing through the halls as they stumbled in the darkness. As the first light of dawn threatened to break, the group discovered a hidden chamber in the depths of the mansion. In the center of the room, atop an ancient pedestal, rested the relic, a small, intricately carved box pulsating with an otherworldly energy. The Midnight Man's presence intensified, his form looming in the shadows. With trembling hands, the group opened the box, revealing a swirling vortex of dark magic within. The Midnight Man, sensing the imminent threat to his existence, unleashed a final assault. Shadows converged upon the group, and the very air seemed to resist their every move. In a desperate act of defiance, they chanted an incantation inscribed on the inside of the box. The relic absorbed the dark energy, and a blinding light erupted from within. The Midnight Man howled in agony as the light consumed him, banishing him back to the realm of shadows from whence he came. As the light faded, the mansion's oppressive atmosphere lifted. The air, once thick with malevolence, now felt lighter. The relic, drained of its dark magic, crumbled to dust. The group, exhausted and shaken, emerged from the mansion as the first rays of dawn bathed Ravenswood in a soft, golden glow. The curse was broken, but the harrowing experience would forever linger in the minds of the group. The Hollow Manor, now free of the Midnight Man's influence, stood silent and empty, a testament to the supernatural forces that lurked in the shadows. The friends, forever bound by the night they played hide and seek with the Midnight Man, went their separate ways, haunted by the memories of that fateful night. And so, the small town of Ravenswood returned to its quiet existence, blissfully unaware of the supernatural events that had transpired within the walls of the Hollow Manor. The mansion, standing as a silent sentinel, seemed to watch over the town with an air of mysterious foreboding, a reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed in the darkness of the night.